What follows is Ira Nayman, reading from Welcome to the Multiverse, Sorry for the Inconvenience, at its North American launch.
I have a reading now, and I am going to sit down for the reading. This is the opening few pages of Welcome to the Multiverse, Sorry for the Inconvenience. He is a lurker in the shadows of the alleyways behind the eyes of inmates in asylum for the awkward. He haunts the spaces between whole numbers. He feeds on the nightmares of those who sleep soundly because they don't know any better. He is the vaguely threatening, half-heard voice that annoys you because it refuses to speak up, even though it continually interrupts some moderately important task that, at that moment in time, should be getting your complete attention. Man, that was a long sentence, wasn't it?
I think they've got web awards for sentences like that.
Not in a good way, though, right? Counting the cost of the compromises we make between our dreams and quality sleep time is something of a hobby with him. On any given night, you can find him in the dark dreams of vegetarian butchers. He is the ache at the center of the hole in your heart before you even know the center of your heart has a hole in it that aches. He is the pre-ache. He has nothing to do with the story that follows. He does not know this. In fact, he would be offended by this fact if he did know it. He's the lurker in the shadows of the etc., etc. He was born to be the antagonist of a story. He's been lurking in the shadows and all that since he was 12. He's very good at it, and perhaps the best in the universe. All of that work perfecting his lurking skills deserves the reward of a central place in the story. To even imagine that he would be a minor character in somebody else's story, mentioned in the first couple of pages and then discarded like a bad memory that hasn't quite formed a pattern in the synapses of a dementia sufferer's brain, well, given all the work that he's put into his craft, that just doesn't seem right. That The lurker in the shadows of the alleyways behind the eyes of inmates in asylum for the awkward realizes in mid-rant that he is out of toothpaste. So he hops into his Prius. What? A lurker in the shadows of, you know the drill, can't have an environmental consciousness? And drives to the nearest Maxi Multi-Megamart, a wholly owned subsidiary of Multinat Corp. We do retail stuff. Okay, his environmental consciousness is selective. Whose isn't? He's dressed in black with a red bow tie because he had heard somewhere that bow ties were cool. Do not make the mistake of thinking that this is his usual lurking attire. He knew from experience that lurking in a Maxi Multi-Megamart just didn't offer the same sense of foreboding with a hint of jasmine, that, in fact, the Maxi Multi-Megamart sucked all of the lurk right out of one. It is at the Maxi Multi-Megamart, between the aisles for household appliances not bigger than bread box and weasel supplies. No, the layout of the products in the Maxi Multi-Megamart is not eccentric. It's designed to maximize impulse purchasing. You know how it works. Haven't you ever been looking for toothpaste and thought to yourself, hey, I should get some of that weasel chow, now with 27% more human disgustingness? That the story truly begins. Okay, that was a long sentence too. Boy, a woman says, can I get some help over here? The lurker with all that descriptive baggage turns to find a well-kept, pleasant enough middle-aged woman. He imagines her scrubbing a pot, really putting some muscle into it, dreading finding out what mischief the beaver would be getting into it sometime that day. Maybe taking a pill to, take the edge off, maybe help her keep the homicidal thoughts at bay, looking towards the time the children are old enough to bugger off and leave her to a future she couldn't imagine but had to be better than the one she was living. In short, she reminds him of his mother, except that she absently plays with a space where her left earlobe should have been, and he's pretty sure his mother came with a complete set. Although, when you think about it, it would have saved his mother money on earrings. Can you tell me, please, the woman asks, what exactly is the difference between a Blendmaster 5000 with 17 levels and 12 settings, and a Mixmonkey 5001 with 12 levels and 17 settings? He looks at the woman blankly. Part of him wonders how a blender could be considered smaller than a bread box. Maybe the comparison was made with the bread box on its side. But mostly he thinks, is she serious? Could this woman possibly be serious? She is confusing the lurker in the shadows of the alleyways behind the eyes of inmates in asylum for the awkward with an aisle rat in a Maxi Multi-Megamart store? It's a simple enough question, the woman, impatience creeping into her voice, states. Are you too simple to know the answer? Jesus, lady, the lurker in the shadows of sarcasm responds. Did you buy that pearl necklace, or did you mug an oyster bed? Excuse me, the woman, dumbfounded, asks. Nice pink dress, the lurker in the shadows of being on a roll says. The 50s would like it back. This is outrageous, the woman, in a cold fury, she kept it in a freezer for just such occasions, states. The lurker in the shadows of obliviousness doesn't notice that her voice actually goes softer. What happened to your ear, the lurker in the shadows that you come to know and love continues? Got too close to your pet piranha at feeding time? The woman stares at him in anger. Now, interpretations of what happened next differ. The lurker in the shadows with poor self-preservation instincts swears that he just meant to pick a piece of lint off the arm of the woman's dress. She must have felt that his reaching towards her was some kind of threat. Before the lurker in the shadows, who maybe should have listened to his parents and taken that job Uncle Manny had offered him in his pet electroshock therapy practice, knows what is happening, the woman is standing behind him, bending the index finger of his right hand far enough back to cause him the maximum amount of pain without making him pass out. The lurker in the shadows of a destiny he cannot comprehend doesn't know what scares him more. The fact that his mother is bending his finger just enough to inflict the maximum amount of pain on him without causing him to pass out, or that his mother knows how to bend his finger just enough to inflict the maximum amount of pain on him without causing him to pass out. Through his pain, the lurker in the shadows of suddenly realizing what a small fish he is in the universe's big pond, hears the woman whisper into his ear, "Did you know that there are 237 ways to kill a man with chopsticks?" Lips trembling, the lurker who is beginning to lose faith in the shadows is about to stutter, "No," or some other cliche that people in this situation stutter, because this situation happens a lot, right? When the woman vanishes, he falls to his knees as the pain slowly ebbs out of him. A minimum wage Maxi Multimark dial drone notices him, assumes he is praying to the god of weasel supplies, and leaves him to his worship. The lurker in the shadows of getting himself out of that damn store alive did, in fact, have a revelation on the floor of the Maxi Multi-Megamart. He realized that he really wasn't cut out to be an antagonist in a major narrative. The no longer lurker in the shadows of the alleyways behind the eyes of inmates in Asylum for the Awkward wondered if he could get a small part in a children's novel. Maybe if he put on a weasel suit. Yeah, that's it. He could be a weasel. The prologue is past.
This interview brought to you by the works of Stephen B. Pearl. These include Tinker's Plague, a medical political thriller set in a shattered world. Nuki Kobai, a paranormal action adventure. And the more risque works in the Hot Shots anthologies, 3 Parts Love, or The Hollow Curse, a paranormal love story with romantic overtones, and Slaves of Love, a science fiction detective romance erotica.